So you've just missed the green, you've short-sided yourself, or you've gone a little bit long, and now you've left yourself a tricky little shot where you need to get it high over a bunker or over a ridge to a tightly cut pin. But previous experiences where you've fatted these ones, you've thinned these ones, you've chunked it into the bunker, they've got you a little bit scared and a bit apprehensive about really what's going to happen. So in this video I'm going to give you some key things that you can do to give you more confidence and help you execute the shot more often and get up and down much more often. So let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Danny Malcolm and we're here at the beautiful Western Australian Golf Club here in Perth, Western Australia. Before I get into today's video, if you're liking the content, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Helps us get this out to more people. And if you're interested in personalised remote online coaching with myself, please click the button below. I'd love to connect with you and help you with your game. So today's video is all about those finesse shots on the edge of the green when you've just short-sided yourself, or you've just gone that little bit long and you've left yourself to a tight pin, perhaps got to get over a bunker or a ridge like I've got here in front of me. And previous experiences has got you a bit worried where you've perhaps thinned it or chunked it into the bunker and you're not fully confident. And I see this a lot of times with my playing lessons, people not sure what to do in this situation. Of course, here where we are, you could potentially put this, but let's say there's a bunker in front of us there, we've got that tight pin, we've got to get it over, land it soft. And so today I'm going to give you the key things that you can do to help implement that. So firstly, let's just understand the difference between a full swing and a finesse shot. Two very different areas of the game that require very different intentions and very different setup situations. So if you imagine your full swing where you're trying to get maximum distance with an iron, you're trying to get maximum weight shift where you get the lower body going first, you get the chest going, then the lead arm, then the club, and you're really getting down into that ball with a steep angle of attack, lots of compression. Club then follows, lots of speed down into the turf for maximum distance, pure ball striking. That's kind of the complete opposite of what we're looking for these finesse shots around the greens. So with these sort of shots, what we'd like to see is coming in a little bit shallower into the ball, a little bit of a flatter angle of attack. We've got a little bit of a different setup, we need more loft. So the key things I'm going to give you here are really going to help with that. So let's get into this shot. Firstly, yes, we need more loft. So here I've got my 58-degree club, always taking into account the lie. Now this is a pretty firm lie where people often get pretty scared, but if you're using the bounce correctly and you've got a decent club with not too much bounce for the lie that you're playing on, then this is what you actually want to use to give you more forgiveness. Oftentimes people like that bit of rough that gives them a bit of cushioning underneath, but you can hit this shot off tight lies as well. So what we need to do in the setup here is get our feet a little bit closer together, a slight little bit of weight on the lead side, and I like to get that left foot or that lead foot flared out just a little bit, and I've opened my body up ever so slightly to the target. Now in this stroke, whereas a full swing you'd be getting more, as I said before, more down into the ball and getting your weight forward. Here we want to get that club coming in a little bit flatter, so rather than getting the lower body to start and this to come later, we almost want in this shot for the club to start falling first and get rid of this angle early, and then the club's going to come in a little bit flatter. That's going to help launch the ball higher, and it's going to get the club just sliding underneath a little bit more rather than hitting really down on it. So that's the first thing when you're thinking tempo, just let that club release and you're almost trying to match up the shaft back to neutral at impact. So we're not trying to get any shaft lean in this whatsoever, just getting that club to come back to neutral, and to do that you've got to let this club fall, release these angles, let it line up, and you'll see then the body will kind of follow on the way through. And what you also want to feel as you're coming through is that little bit of softness in the knees, but then as you're coming into impact, almost like you're extending up nice and tall and back. You'll see the best little finesse shot players in the world, they won't be down like this into the shot. They'll actually, as they're coming into impact, all this will come up, the body will start to come up as the club goes down. And I put a little bit of pressure into the ground there to ensure that they're using the bounce. You can see in my rehearsals there, I'm just getting that club to just hit the floor, just skip through. So I'm not trying to lean back to help it up by any stretch, but I'm just lining it up there and getting my body to come up as the club goes down. I'm just getting confidence in that turf interaction, and that's the key thing with this shot, confidence. You've got the margin for error. Use the bounce, don't set it, get too diggy into it, don't try and help it up, just let the club fall in, a little bit of pressure into the ground there as you come through. Now one of the key things, I was doing a lesson the other day and I teach this shot quite a lot, but but I just had a little bit of a light bulb moment and of a way to, because this is a shot that I've played for years, and as a player oftentimes you have your own feels, and it can often be quite difficult to translate that to a student, so we're always finding ways to best put that across. And this analogy worked wonderfully the other day, and it was turn the tap. Now it sounds a bit silly, but bear with me. So what I mean by that, if you're just going to turn on a tap at home, you turn it just like that, right? So if you imagine the club face, once we've set it ever so slightly open, because we want to get a little bit more loft as well, is we've got our wrist set here, a nice little bit of cupping for this shot, and imagine that the back of your left hand is the club face. Now if we just get it going like this, that's going to keep the club face much more open throughout the shot, maintain your loft coming through. Whereas if we go more like this, more like we would for a full shot where we're trying to compress an iron, we're going to take loft off the club, hit down and through, reduce that loft for a low ball flight, more compression, more penetrating flight. That's not what we want for these finesse shots. So your long game, forget that for this area. It's a completely different area of the game. That's not going to help you here. So turn the tap is my little tip. So it's this feeling here. So you can see as I make some swings here, I'm almost just keeping that to the sky the whole time, and that would make my club face to the sky the whole time as well. And then from there I'm just moving my body, as I said before, keeping the loft on the club and just swinging through with a little bit of speed. It's not a super long swing, you don't need all this going on. Yes, you need a little bit of speed, a little bit of pop at the bottom, but the less you can move all this about, the less you're going to drag the handle, the less you're going to be here at impact. So you can just set it here and through, a little bit of pop at the bottom, and then let's give it a go. So we're here, tight pin, so you can see the height on that shot. Downhill, super quick green, so you're not going to really stop it any closer than that, but this is just not the place that you would like to leave yourself on the course. But you could hear the bounce working on that one. And another way, if you want to hit it higher, another thing you could add into this is get yourself lower. So a little bit like a bunker shot. So if you want to hit it high, if we get the handle a little bit lower, that's also going to shallow out that angle of attack into the ball as well, which is going to help launch it higher. Now here I'm on a little bit of a downslope, so it's not helping that I'm downwind on a downslope into a pin that's cut tight, but I think it's just a wonderful example to show you that it still can be, you can still do that on these sorts of lies. So let's do that again. So I've got I'm turning the tap, here we go, I'm keeping the loft on, that feeling there where I'm keeping the club face to the sky, keeping my hands like this, bit of speed at the bottom, a little bit of pop, using the bounce, letting the club bounce through as I move up and through the shot, soft knees and up and through the shot, and I'm getting a feel for the turf, and then I can step in, here we are, through there. So you can see that was a slightly better one there. I love these shots, I could play these all day, spent years as a kid, and that's it. This takes practice, absolutely takes practice. So I've given you kind of some of the tools, key things to work on here, but I could spend hours and hours around a chipping green. So here we go again, there we go. Take that one, I love it. So I'd recommend most players, if they do have an hour a week to practice or something like that, if you could spend most of that, if not all of it, down on the short game area, you'd be sure to drop your handicap and get up and down more often. It's such a fun game area of the game to practice as well. So there's my keys for the finesse shot, turn the tap. Hope that helps. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks again for watching, and look forward to seeing you on the next video.